Shalom, I'm Rabbi Michael Panitz. I'm the Rabbi of Temple Israel of Norfolk, Virginia, and I'm speaking to you from the pulpit of this congregation. At this time, my theme is the Nile as BABI YAR. The Bible reaches out to us from the Bronze Age, but we hear it with ears attuned to the issues of our own day. This week, as we reread the familiar narrative of the 10 plagues, our Israeli siblings have passed the 100-day point in their war against the brutal terrorists of Hamas and their enablers and their supporters. The world is focused on the devastation occasioned by Israel's retaliation to the horrors of October 7th, not on those horrors themselves. Perhaps the Bible can speak to that particular issue. The biblical portion we are reading now covers the first 7 plagues of the 10 plagues against Egypt. We remember that the first plague was the turning of the waters of the Nile into blood. Let us understand the under-the-surface significance of making the Nile the location of the first of the plagues. In the minds of Egyptians, the Nile was connected to the Egyptian deity Osiris. The mythology of Osiris focused on the story that he was murdered and then resurrected. He was hailed as the god of death and rebirth, judge of souls reaching the underworld, and the guarantor of life after death for the worthy. As such, the annual flooding of the Nile was associated with the worship of Osiris. The plague takes that idolatrous belief to its reductio ad absurdum. The waters turned to blood were no longer potable. Humans suffered. Fish died. The plague against the Nile was therefore the first in a series that aimed not only for the political goal of liberating the enslaved Hebrews, but also the theological goal of discrediting the religions that undergirded the massive Egyptian disregard for the lives of everyday people, let alone the lives of non-ethnic Egyptians. In Israelite memory, the Nile was a mass grave. It was where the male infants of the Israelites were drowned in the year of the birth of Moses. The Pharaoh's edict of mass murder said, Kol haben hayilod hayaora tashlichuhu. Let every male child that is born be cast into the Nile. The Nile was the BABI YAR of the Jews of that generation, the site of the mass murder. It was Aaron who actually wielded the staff of Moses and performed the miracle of transforming the Nile. The rabbis, sensitive as always to every nuance of the biblical narrative, commented that Moses could not himself bear to work a miracle against the waters, since they had been his pathway to rescue. Waters had borne him to the arms of Pharaoh's daughter and to safety. But the waters had to be named. Ocean had to be satisfied. Pharaoh's power came from the dictatorial powers that he wielded, and those powers in turn were buttressed by the mythology of Egyptian religion, in which he was hailed as the son of Ra, the sun god. And so it is today. The dictatorial power that Hamas wields has to be broken. Their virulent hatred of the Jew, coupled with their total disregard for the lives of the Palestinians themselves, whom they use as human shields, make them irredeemable. Some other party will have to lead the Gazans if there is ever to be peace between them and Israel. Pharaoh's heart was hard, and he did not heed the lesson of the first plague, nor of any of the others until the last one. Only when the plagues reached his own household did he let the Israelites go, and that concession was only temporary. Within a week, he was trying to hunt them down again. Does that not sound contemporary? Yes, the story of the Exodus, old as it is, definitely speaks to our time, and even more specifically, to our situation in this year, in these 100 days. May we experience a rescue this year that, if it had happened in the days of the Bible, would have become the stuff of Bible story to teach the children of Israel for all generations. Amen.